Хоснаром. Но большинство людей, наверное, знают меня как Heesco. Artist name. Я из Монголии, живу в Австралии 20 лет. Да, артист, рисую на стенах, на фасадах. You just have to, like it's just painting like anything else, but it's just painting like on a bigger scale and in public spaces. So it starts off from like graffiti like culture, you know, and you start off painting like, you know, like back alleys and like whatever walls you can sort of find, and then gradually you start doing more and more, and I guess that's when you become like a professional artist, like street artist. Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I probably started like more or less like 10 years ago. Like before that, I was drawing since and making art since I was like a little kid. But I wanted to become more of a comic book artist, like illustrator. And then I went to art school and I did just normal, like, you know, paintings, drawings. I did some print media, like studied etching, screen printing. A lot of like, anything to do with like drawing and painting, I was really interested in. But and around that time, we didn't have graffiti as such in Mongolia when I was growing up. You know, I grew up under communism and went to Russian school. There were lots of like propaganda walls. So I mean, maybe that influenced me a little bit. After I finished uni in Sydney, that's around time of street art was becoming more of a thing. You know, like Banksy and like, you know, Shepard Fairey, like Obey, and lots of the guys in the States and in Europe. That sort of like piqued my interest. To me, it felt like something that didn't have any like kind of boundaries. So like, you know, there was no gallery, like, you know, or curator or art critic, you know. It was very much directly from the artist to the audience. You just have to start painting and drawing, and like one thing I would say is that it's like sports, you know, like you have to stay in shape. So with art, it's the same thing. You have to draw and paint every single day, like, you know, or at least like a few times a week, you know, like otherwise, like you can be like really fast runner today, and you may be like, you know, maybe the fastest person in the world, you know, but if you don't train, like next year, you're not going to be the fastest at all, you know. So it's a little bit tricky because like when you're an artist and you want to, like, you know, do it full time, like if you have to start treating it like a full-time job, whereas a lot of people treat it like a hobby, you know, and that sort of like mental shift, I think, affects people, you know, because when you start treating it like a full-time job and do things on a like professional level, you know, like it doesn't matter if you're like busy or not, you know, but at least do it the best you can and treat it as like professionally as you can, and that helps you grow. And oh yeah, it's spray paint. Like one can of spray paint, like, you know, used to cost me like around $10-12, you know, for the good ones, and maybe like $7-8 for the cheaper ones. I mean, there's like really cheap ones that can cost you like, you know, $2-3 too, you know. But, like in a way, it doesn't matter like what do you use, so long like paint is a paint, you know. And if you like, especially for like someone starting out, like do it with whatever you can afford, you know. And when your skill level gets better, like if you can paint something nice with like really cheap paint, when you actually buy the expensive paint, you'll be like really good, you know. Oh yeah, it is quite bad because you have like it's just poison. It's literally like I have to wear a mask, you know. If I'm painting inside, like I wear like goggles. These days, like, you know, I often like wear long sleeves and gloves and just like hat and just cover yourself as much as you can. because like, you know, paint like can affect you in the long term. Well, I mean, after I finished uni, like I worked full time, maybe like close to 8 years. You know, like I worked for a signage company, and it was like a sort of factory job where I was like, you know, mounting, laminating, doing lots of things, and I kept like my art in my spare time, like at nights and on the weekends. So to me, it was like the other way around. You know, like I never gave up on art. But I gave up on the day job. So like it took me like 30 whatever years to get to that point. So like everything else is just means to get me there. Just something that helps me to get to my final goal of becoming an artist. Oh, I don't know. I'm sure I would do something creative, you know, like my father and my father's side family, they're like lots of like creative people, like lots of musicians and singers, dancers, and so I'm sure I would have ended up somewhere in that direction, I suppose. Oh. Wow, that's really hard to know. Like, to be honest, like I was getting like more and more depressed, you know, like I was going through this like very angsty teenage years, and Mongolia in the 90s was like really rough, you know. Everybody was poor. How can you think about art when you're hungry, you know, like when you don't have a job or when you like have hungry kids, you know, like that's one of the reasons I wanted to like move away, and I'm from the first generation of Mongolians who actually had that opportunity to move overseas and study and like learn out the language and, you know, all that. I think if I did stay there, like I would have been like them, you know, and life is actually not too bad now, you know, like everybody's doing fine. People survive. Every now and then, yeah, I do think about it. Like that's still an option, you know, like I never planned to come and live in Australia, you know, like it just came up and just opportunity popped up and I was like, okay, I'll come and like, you know, see what it's like in Australia, and never planned to live here for 20 years. I don't know, there might be a time when I will move and live in Mongolia, or like my sister lives in Sweden, so like I might go and live there too, you know. Like, I have this like collection of like, you know, photos of people from Central Asia, and most of them like, you know, wearing their traditional costumes. I started off like, you know, painting Mongolian like, you know, images like portraits, and I was mixing it with like hip hop sort of culture and graffiti, like, you know, it was like something that I thought was kind of funny, but also it's just so like random too, you know, like that there was something interesting in that combination of like, you know, painting like a Mongolian like warrior from like, you know, like 13th century, but it's like, you know, holding like a big boombox and like, you know, like wearing like Kanye West glasses or something like that, you know. From then on I started like just exploring more and more of the traditional costumes of that region, and the main thing is not many people know about Central Asia in general, you know, like it's like, to me, it's still one of those last exotic places in the world that people haven't really like explored or exploited yet. You know? Just so many different cultures, and it's all, everybody's sort of like connected through the culture and the tradition and history. I grew up with that. Landed on that the Kyrgyz man because mainly on the strength of that image, you know, like on the photograph, because it was like very like sort of confident, like strong looking man, you know, like a nomad just standing there like looking like, instantly I recognized that man as a nomad, because like the way, just that look in his eyes, like, you know, he's looking at something really far, you know, like, and I still have relatives who live like, you know, in Gobi Desert, and there's like nothing there, you know, like, and their eyesights are just like crazy, like they would notice like, you know, animals way far. I can't see anything, you know, I'm a city boy, but they're like, my uncle would be like, oh, there's some like, you know, whatever camels right there, you know, like, and like, no matter how much I tried, like I can't even spot it, you know, but I wasn't getting paid to do it. You know, like I've covered all the paint expenses, but I just had this really nice big wall my Blender studio guys organized with this shopping center, and I said, like, you know, look, I want to paint this, and they're like, go for it, and it just happened, you know. I mean, if I get another wall like that, I want to paint another one, like, you know, but maybe Uzbek or you know, like, but I don't know, like just from anywhere, like from the Central Asia, and yeah, I would really love to. Yeah, like well, like this August I went to Ulan-Ude in Buryatia. You know, that was my first time there, and I was like it was amazing. It was really good, and yeah, like definitely made me want to, like, you know, travel more and explore, like that's like rest of the Central Asia, like, you know, region. And like if I can go to like Kyrgyzstan one day, like I will definitely go, and then if I can paint, that would be nice. Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I do have a plan just to travel more and just meet people, paint like in different countries, meet different people, and you know, just explore the world and kind of do a bit of work in Mongolia as well, because it's always nice. Like I go there like every summer and spend a bit of time. Like definitely gonna go to Europe, but I'm sure there'll be more work in Australia as well. So yeah, we'll see. I'm very short-sighted. That might be interesting for people. Like I wear contact lenses all the time, but I'm like nearly blind.